Okay, good evening, everybody. This is what this is going to be. This is going to be Future Water number 2. And my friend Wendy Gross, who is the head coach of Pink Champagne, and lots of other things. So good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening. Hi, Tim.
Now, what I know about you, I know lots about you, I suppose, because I've sort of known you since 2013. But you're the UK IBCPC, International Breast Cancer Paddling Commission rep. You're the head coach, chief coach of Pink Champagne. I think you've been around since it started. You've recently been involved in, well, last couple of years setting up Pink Royals. And you're the head coach of the most illustrious British breast cancer team I can think of, okay? Because you're intrepid. And we'll talk about why that is in a minute. But firstly, that shirt you're wearing. Tell us about the shirt you're wearing. So this is a Bournemouth FC shirt. What's the history of that then?
Yep, you might think that Dragon Boat Racing is my first sport, but unfortunately it's football.
Yeah.
From growing up to be from a Chelsea supporter and Chelsea season ticket holder, I now support my local team.
Right.
Season ticket holder at Bournemouth. And this shirt actually is second year in the Premiership, and AFC Bournemouth was supporting breast cancer care. So, right. And obviously this is the first kit. Nice pink football, perfect. Yeah. So a few of the girls in the team have got them because a few of the girls are season ticket holders.
Yeah.
So yep, this is what they wore it a few times in the Premiership, okay. And actually on Match of the Day I think once wearing it.
Right. So and Bournemouth. I mean, I'm not really. I should be because my dad was on the F.A.M.E, so I should actually know more about football. In fact, my family's got so my brother tells me, a genetic connection with Tottenham Hotspur because we're from North London. But anyway. But I understand Bournemouth are not doing so great this year, and it's possible they're going to get demoted, relegated. However, you are a die-in-the-wall supporter, so to speak, so you'll support them through thick and thin, yeah?
That's right. We went up 5 years ago and thought that we'd only be there one season, so we went to every Premiership ground, and we've lasted 5 years, so there's still hope, yeah?
Still hope, yeah. So you could have a lucky run, win some, do sort of kill a few giants, so to speak.
Yeah, never know.
But yeah, we'll never know.
It's been a good 5 years, so.
And it's a great shirt as well. But unfortunately, you asked them to sponsor you, and disgracefully, I've got to say, I can say that because it's my channel. Disgracefully, they didn't sponsor you, but you never know, they might do.
That's it. Yeah, I think they get something like 1 million requests a year.
Oh, I mean, I would have thought, you think about it, if you've got a local team like that, Premiership, the amount of sponsorship opportunities available to them. So, but anyway, they missed a trick as far as I'm concerned. So, Pink Champagne. Now, I've been coming down, helping out every now and again with Pink Champagne since 2013, but you've been around since the start, have you not?
Not quite the start. I started in 2010.
Oh right, okay.
The team started in 2009.
So how did you get involved? Because you were a sporting lady before, weren't you? I think.
Oh yeah. I'm a big team sport, ladies football, hockey. Right. Never done the ladies stuff. Never done the netball. That was never for me. Always done the rough sports.
Well, you can't say that because you can't say football is not a ladies' sport because it's all inclusive.
No, that's it.
In those days.
They earn a lot of money now, so I missed the trick there.
Yeah,
too old. I think the very last day that I finished my radiotherapy, my treatment took a year in 2009, and I think you came down. I came out of the hospital that last day, and you think you've sort of lost your comfort blanket.
Yeah.
Because the whole year's been full up with appointments, doctor appointments, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, 5 weeks of that. And you suddenly, you should be celebrating that you finished it all and your life is now going to start. But it's a really strange feeling because you're suddenly on your own. But it just so happens that last day, sitting there waiting for my radiotherapy, it was snowing and it was all delayed. And I started reading a board and there was a leaflet there for Pink Champagne. So I think it was a Tuesday. I picked it up and I paddled on the Saturday. So, and then on that day, funny enough, they were arranging Canada, which was IBCPC event in 2010 in Peterborough in Canada. Right. And they said, "Oh, do you want to come to Canada?" And it was like yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I came home, been to Paul Park, came home and said to my husband, he said, oh, how was it? I said, oh, it was really good. I'm going to Canada. And it's like, wow. And yeah, I went to Canada the next year for my first event, and it was amazing. It was amazing actually, because I was the new girl, and I just went along and was told what to do, and it's probably been my greatest trip actually.
Really?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the best trips I ever did when I was paddling with Amethyst in 2013, we were the UK national champions, went to the European Championships and absolutely got hammered out of the park. And if you're, or off the water in fact, if you're used to winning everything, as Amethyst was, going and coming back in the tail races, you come back, people saying, yeah, we had to fight for everything we got there. And that was one of the best trips. And a lot of the crew thought, you know, but yeah, I see that. Yeah, because it's about, what's it about? What's the essence of dragon boating for you then?
I like team. Obviously, I like team sport. I like working together. I'm very, very competitive. It's sometimes a bit of a problem because I'm probably too competitive. I sort of sometimes expect everyone else to be competitive as well, which is really hard in the sort of team we're in, because you know we're all inclusive, so we've got to make sure we include everyone.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good for me, like discipline-wise, and I think I've become more thoughtful about other people and their needs as well, especially being coach. I'm not the most serious person in the world, as you probably know. I'm probably the first person to stand on a table drunk.
You amaze me saying that. Okay, but I'll believe you. Okay.
I'm not the good coach, maybe. I got bad points, and but hopefully I know that as well, my bad points. And
but everyone's the same, aren't they? However, you know, the big deal is it's a bit like even in helming. Very few people are prepared to step up and take responsibility and say, look, okay, fine, I'm going to do this. And it's very easy from the rank and file of any team to sort of, throw stones at the coach and say, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? And they're not actually prepared to do it themselves. So all credit to you for doing that, because I know a lot of blokes coaches who are very, when I say uncomfortable training ladies teams, it's not anything to do with the ladies, it's their personal comfort blanket. When I come down and I do stuff with you and all the ladies take the pee and this, that and the other, I think it's great. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about that. Having been in the police for 30 years, it's not an issue for me. But I can think of some very senior and well-respected coaches who actually decline to coach women's teams because they can't handle it, and they can't handle it. It's nothing to do with the ladies; they can't handle it. You know, so that's But how do you manage to take the team along with you most of the time? You know, you're always not going to keep everyone happy all the time. But what is the key ingredient of your particular coaching style? What do you think?
Hopefully they see me as like one of them, really. I'm not a bossy coach. I feel like I'm an easygoing sort of person. I never intended to ever be a coach. I literally just done the level 2 because we'd actually joined the BDA at that time.
Yes.
And we needed a level 2 coach to be able to paddle and for BDA insurances. So I just I done my level 2 8 years ago now. And suddenly I was coach because I had a level 2 coach about it, and it's not really the route. It's not really the route that I plan to take. I do enjoy it. Obviously, my problem there is I don't get coached. You know, you come down, but I don't learn other stuff myself. There's no one there to teach me how to coach. So that's a problem for me a little bit. I've been going to Britannia ladies. That's really great setup. So I've paddled with them a couple of times, which I really love because I bring the drills back to Pink Champagne basically. Yes. Hopefully, there's no copyright with Britannia drills, but you know they've got some good coaches there, and those days there, I learned loads to bring back.
Most people tend to, in terms of technical stuff, most people tend to share, and it's a case of what works for you and your team, because you may have a set of drills or skills or whatever procedures that the Premier team are doing, and people sort of take it back and presume that's suddenly going to work with a different bunch of people. It doesn't always work. So it's a case of just deciding what's going to work, what's not going to work, and going from there. But I mean, nobody's got any copyright on anything, and the chances are there's very few that are actually originals, if you know what I mean. They'll all be sort of not there. The nature of it is not beg, stealing and borrowing, but just seeing what works, and if that works for other people, trying that, and that's fine. And really, I'd say to anybody involved in coaching, sort of talk to as many different coaches as possible, because what you don't want is any sort of people saying you have to do this, because that's not coaching it well. Unless it's absolute fail-safe. I mean, more often than not, most good coaches that I know are a mixture of their own individual innovation and mixture of other stuff that they've found here, they've used that, they've tried that, and that's the nature of it. That's all pretty much all coaches do that, see what works. But just going back to your original, so who was still around? Who would I know who was around in 2010? I think Annie.
Well, obviously, Mary, who set Pink Champagne up.
Yeah.
Janet came to Janet, our 80-year-old paddler.
Yeah.
Most amazing woman. Still argues if I don't put her at the front of the boat.
Yes.
She would stroke it, no problem. She came to Canada with us. I think Chris Balcott, who was a level 2 coach, is now with Bournemouth Dragons. Kim came to Peterborough.
Right.
Pretty sure Kim came to Peterborough. Yep, Kim came. Trying to think who else came.
Was Chris Finnegan around then, or was that? Did she?
I think she's just slightly after. I think she just missed out on Canada. Just missed out. Yeah, but yeah, she's been.
And Anne must have been there along. Was she there then, or did she come?
No. There's just probably me, Janet, and Kim, I think.
Right.
Oh, Patience as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So given the lockdown situation, obviously you had all sorts of plans this year, but another reason we're talking is because you as a bunch, I mean, headed by you, I know, and some others, but you've been probably the most intrepid bunch in terms of your off-water. Tell us something about that, because I know you've walked here, you've paddled the Irish Sea. What have you done? Tell me how you've been keeping the crew together.
Well, the thought of them sitting doing nothing drive me mad, Tim. Couldn't bear the thought of them sitting there stuffing their faces doing nothing.
Drinking beer, yeah, right. Smoking cigars.
That's my job.
Right.
So it's more keeping the group in contact with each other, really. We've got a couple of ladies who, when we went lockdown, they actually were in lockdown.
Right.
So they were seeing no one at all. So it was really important to keep the group together. And the best way of doing it is like a challenge.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get together on Zoom and people, they might not mean it, but I'm missing my grandchildren, and I saw them today, but some of these people haven't, and it's really hard. So yeah, the first one first challenge I set was we just thought we'd just walk one of the mountains. So we started off with Snowdon, I think it was, and then I thought, my husband and son walked the Three Peaks last year, so I thought, I think we walked Snowdon so quickly, I was thinking, blimey. So we thought, right, let's do Three Peaks. So we've done the Three Peaks, and we've done it really quickly.
Yeah.
So then I introduced Mont Blanc, and then
like you do.
Then Kilimanjaro. And then what's that one? What's the big one?
Everest. That one.
Yeah, then Everest. Yeah, so between us,
10 bed Everest. Yeah.
We walked 11.5. Well, we climbed 11,500 flights of stairs.
Wow.
That's just going up. We didn't count coming down. So that was ankles were hurting at the end of that. So we've done that quite quickly. And then we thought, we'll just do a nice easy walk. So we decided to walk to all the UK teams.
Yes.
Around the country. So we started off with Paragons, went on to Cambridge, Hudson the Yachts, and so yeah, it includes them. So we got up to Windermere, and then Paul Egbers said, you've got to come see us. And it actually turned into a little thing like it was real. It was really strange.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why have you not come to see us? Why have you not come to see us? So we went to Port Egg, and then obviously Deborah from, you know, it's a good friend of mine, Deborah Bonner from Donegal.
Yeah.
You dare not come to see us, and it was like, right, okay. So we had a paddling session where we paddled across the Irish Sea. So we all done a Zoom. I worked out based on a 1 minute 10, 200 meters for pink champagne. Worked out how many 200 meters were in the 64 miles across the Irish Sea or wherever it was, and how many hours it was going to take. So we paddled on Zoom, and some of Donegal joined us. We got across the Irish Sea in one session, which was really good.
So how did you actually do? I mean, cycling or walking upstairs. But how did you actually do the paddling?
With just a Zoom meeting virtually. So we some paddle with paddles, some paddle with feather dusters, broomsticks, like one of your Zoom meetings, fitness. You know, anything long and hard.
Yeah. Absolutely. Feather duster. Did you get some? You must have got some pictures of that paddling with the feather duster.
Well, I think I got a video of it. It was quite funny.
Brilliant.
Neighbour one, next door neighbours wondered what the hell I was doing because I was shouting and screaming at them. You know, and we found ourselves getting into like it was real, you know, and you know, people shouting out, you know, leg drive and stop splashing me, and it was good fun.
The thing is, it's great, isn't it? Because it's so motivational, and it is because I mean the stuff I've been running some sessions since March and stuff, and it's nice if you have you've got the luxury of different stuff, but then you are actually keeping contact with people are isolated, and you put somebody in their house if they're used to being sort of gregarious and out and about. It's only when we take away those freedoms, if you like, you suddenly realise actually. Yeah. What do I do now? I mean, we're lucky here, for example, because it's what I do. We've got loads of fitness equipment and all that sort of stuff, and I've got a turbo bike behind me, so fine. But you've got to be aware also when you're planning these sessions that you're talking to some people that may be living in a tower block and can't get out and can't do this and can't do that, and they've got other things preventing them from doing stuff. So these sessions that you've been running and others have been running really are a bit of a lifeline, and it came home to me because you talk about coaches borrowing different things. I borrowed the concept off you, and I then did something else. Actually, you ended up doing one of the challenges. But that whole idea of sort of setting a challenge, and in fact, there's a few teams that did our challenge that sort of turned their nose up at it a little bit, but then realised, ended up saying, actually, this has been really good, and it really got a lot of traction in Northern Ireland for some reason. And lots of the teams, there's teams over here, but people realise the benefit of it and out in the water. So all credit to you because you really pioneered
that. We finished your challenge as well a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was tough. Those sit-ups were tough.
Yes, but then think how fit you are. The 10,000 sit-ups, not each, but that's great.
Yeah, that was tough. And we didn't obviously OC1, but we a lot of us now bought kayaks, so we're kayaking. So we counted the kayaks, and obviously every Wednesday we have a paddling session.
Yes.
So and obviously we counted that as well. So
brilliant. I mean, the whole idea of it, as you say, is you as the coordinator decide what counts and what doesn't count. So fine, because different people can do different things.
We're all at the moment we're walking to where the French World Championship was going to take place, Aix-les-Bains.
Oh yeah.
So we're walking there at the moment just to check it out because obviously we was really looking forward to going there.
Yeah.
And also we're doing we're dancing as well. So at the moment we're dancing 100 to 100 songs.
Wow.
Anyway, you want? I've just come out of my son's gym and just done 100 weights to chirpy chirpy cheep cheep. So there you go. That's how sad I am.
Well, no, you say that. I mean, but do you think you'll carry something like that on? Because for teamwork and team spirit, that sort of stuff, keeping people together, these things are brilliant.
Yeah, just running out a few ideas now. I'm running out of songs to start with. I've got to 52, but I dug deep today. We had Tie Yellow Ribbon and Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep and I'm a Believer by the Monkeys. So that's the three for this morning.
Let's go back a bit.
Yeah. So
it's great. And I remember, soon after, in fact, I was chatting to a mate of mine, one of my training partners. I was doing some stuff in a double boat this morning, and I found myself talking about team resilience and that sort of stuff again. And I recited what I've said to a lot of people about when I was running the Premier team. Yeah, you've always got these younger people who are sort of sometimes got a bit of a chip on the shoulder. The nature of the age. I remember saying to them then that if you could export the team spirit in pink champagne onto the Premier team, you'd be world beaters. And I still believe that is the case. Is there something about something? I mean, it's not. I don't think it's particular to pink champagne, but it's very evident in pink champagne about that raw material. And so I'm not surprised. People, not everyone's going to do it. People are going to muck in and not muck in, but do their part in the various challenges. So, what proportion do you think of the team have got involved in that?
Walking stairs. I think we had 30 members walking stairs. You know,
Right.
some ladies lived in bungalows, which were a problem. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had between 25, 30 people joining each challenge. So, you know, I talk about Janet. Janet done I think she struggled with stairs, but Janet doing her dancing, she does her walking. She does 8 miles walking a day. She's been doing her cycling. Amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It is amazing. And she doesn't mind understanding. She's a octogenarian. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Pink Royals. So let's do to the IBC. So you became the UK rep for the International Breast Cancer Paddling Commission. So how did that come about?
I don't know how that came about. Obviously, someone put a good word in for me, which was very nice.
Okay.
I put myself about a bit, as you know. So, you know, whenever we go abroad, you know, Pink Champagne are very proactive.
Yes.
Obviously, look, you know, I'm not going to say that's all down to me, but I'm always looking for the next trip. Yeah. I drive the trustees absolutely mad because I'm always at them. Can we go to one more trip this year? Can we do this year?
But you set the tone, don't you? And that's the tone that people like that, don't they? And they'll adopt it. Yeah.
You know, I just want us to be on like world stages. You know, I want us to race against our peers. I want us to be racing against breast cancer teams. You know, we love coming to the BDA events. You know, but you know, we enter the Open. We're next to Amethyst. We know what the result's going to be. We get the biggest clap, but you know, we want to be competing a little bit better. We actually do compete. Sometimes, probably 5 years ago, at a BDA event, ladies, probably some of the ladies probably thought, oh, that's good, we've got Pink Champagne. Now, maybe some of the ladies think, oh shit, don't want to get beaten by them.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and that's good. That's good. That's what it should be.
Yeah, and so for me, that's really good because we're making that progression and we're getting a better team, a stronger team, you know, and I think the BDA, they like it. Hopefully they like us being there. We obviously give a bit of colour. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going off the track a little bit. So when we do go abroad, I do put myself about a little bit, and you know, that's what I enjoy. I like meeting new people. You know, my Facebook page is 3/4 full of foreign breast cancer ladies.
Yeah.
Like my best friends, I might have only met them. I don't ever meet them in the country they live in. I meet them in different countries.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to lots and lots of different countries and paddled. I've been really, really lucky. So yeah, so maybe, you know, my name got thrown around a little bit as a proactive person.
Yeah. But that's exactly who you want, isn't it? I mean, and that same spirit has led to the setting up of Pink Royals. So tell us a bit about Pink Royals.
Yeah, well, it's always, since I got the position on the IBCPC, you know, I wanted to, you know, I think when I spoke to Mary Gibson, who you spoke to a couple of weeks ago, you know, she said, you know, we need to get more teams in Europe, really. And the UK's got probably less teams than anywhere else, really, in Europe. Yeah. I think in the last couple of years, France have got something like 50 breast cancer teams now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Like, okay. It's mad. So, you know, us and Poor Life have been sort of the proactive teams.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get more teams. You know, I really wanted to have a UK breast cancer festival and have a UK festival, you know, meet, so we can all get together. I know sometimes some of the teams in the UK don't like racing. It's they just want to do what they do, which is fine. I can't make people do things they don't want to do, and that's not what I'm about. I wanted to give people the opportunity to do what Pink Champagne do, really, and experience going abroad and racing. And a lot of the teams just haven't got enough people in their club to put a team into Barcelona or even a BDA event. Right. So we started off in Liverpool, where the BDA gave us some money to hold the festival on the Saturday.
Yes.
So I thought that's a perfect chance to try and get this composite team going, which will enable people from the other clubs to come together and have a go at BDA racing. Because everyone seems to be scared of the BDA a little bit. Like, oh no, I'm not coming to the BDA. They're all too good for us. Okay, they are too good for us, but
well, you say that, and this is the thing, isn't it? It's this. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I've been on the back of Pink Champagne boats where you've beaten. I remember one day in Bristol where we beat Notts, and it was a team they turned up with. Now, the team they turned up with is the team they turned up with. It wasn't a depleted team I could see, but you still beat them.
Yeah.
So but you can only do that if you turn up. It's like when I paddle with amethysts, if half the team don't turn up, well, that's the A team. Whoever turns up, and that's. Yeah. But I did detect something different a couple of years ago. I can't remember what it was, where you'd go to BDA events or other events, and you'd be the single breast cancer team. You get a big clap, fantastic. You might get a trophy. And I remember, I think it was either yourself or Angie I was talking to, and they were saying you were saying to me something on the lines of, "That's not that. We appreciate that. We'll always appreciate that, but we're looking for something more. We wouldn't. Somebody wants to give us a trophy. Thank you very much. Yeah. But we're not here just to be the single breast cancer team. We're here to sort of, in our own right, in the same way that Purple Warriors, that they compete with non-impaired teams, but they really want to be competing on a level playing field. But I can see that. So it's but it's I think competition is a part of human nature, isn't it? I mean,
and I'm competitive. I got hundreds of medals, and I treasure every one of them. Yeah, there's probably a few that I treasure more than any. Where like the medals we got in Seville last year, where there was 9 breast cancer teams. And we nicked. We didn't. I was about to say nicked medals. We didn't. We won medals. Yeah, because we were better than the other teams. Yeah, and then we trained hard for it. So those medals now, I think we went to Devon for 2 years previously. We was the only breast cancer team, and we came home with 3 golds. It was great, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think if somebody just saw that snapshot, they think, well, not appreciative of that, but I understand exactly what you mean by that. It's once you get to a certain level, then you want to go to the next. That's competition, isn't it? You want to go to the next level and the next level and the next level, and sooner or later you'll be taking bigger scalps, and that's development, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
And I think anyone who hasn't sat on a race line, even a BDA event or any event, some of the girls say, "Oh, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it." And they sat on that line, and sometimes they're messing around on the line, the tension on the line. Yeah, that's the greatest feeling at the end of the race. Even coming last. Coming last, it's like, oh my god, I want more of that. Yeah, and that's what I found now with some of the ladies who have been in the pink roll boats. You give them that little taste. We gave them a taste in Liverpool, and then we put the pink rolls in again at the nationals, so that we could have a breast cancer race in the nationals. That's the first time, so I was really pleased. I did want to get some more teams, but anyway, it didn't happen. This year, and obviously it was going to happen this year, but it's not going to. Yeah. So they've had that taste, and they want it more. So following on from that, I then had 27 of us came to Barcelona in May in the pink rolls, and And that was different because that was a lot of the Oxford paddlers were coming and their supporters were coming. So it wasn't just going to be a breast cancer boat, it was going to be a breast cancer boat, but also we were going to race as an open team with the supporters.
Right.
So it's a boat for everyone, really. You know, when we talk to the girls, I always say it's not my team, it's your team. You know, I've set it up, but it's not my team. You know, I managed to get the shirts paid for by my boss because she works for hence the name. She works for the Royal Line. Well, I work for the Royal Line Hotel in Lyme Regis. Right. So, hence the name, the Pink Royals. So, yep, she gave me £1,000. So,
brilliant. And what's the name again? Can you give her a bit of a plug then? Who was that?
Pink Royals. The Pink Royals.
The Pink Royals. Who gave you the £1,000?
The Royal Line Hotel in Lyme Regis.
Oh, there you go. And all credit to them. And thank you very much for them as well. Obviously, you've thanked already. Last little point then. So, having come into coaching, obviously coaching is one of my favourite subjects. Having come in, not by default, but because you've done the ticket and whatever, but it wasn't in your plan. So now you've been a coach for a number of years. In a nutshell, what are the key things that coaching has given you, or you've given the team because you've become a better coach? How would you sum it up? Because it's not just doing technical drills, you know, doing a 200 metre. There's more to it than that, isn't it? That's the easiest things to teach. You go on a coaching course and you get taught how to do this drill, this drill. Yeah, okay, fine. That's important. But what's the real? What makes you a good coach? And you're a good coach because you're still there and they're performing. So there must be a connection.
No one else.
There must be. No, it's not. There's more than that. Everyone says that. There's more than that because Pink Champagne are performing significantly better than they were before you started coaching.
Yeah,
so you've got to take some credit for that. But what do you think? Because every coach is different, aren't they? But what do you think is, if you were advising me, so I'm coming into coaching, yeah, if you what you know now that you didn't know before, what's your top three? I'll put you on the spot here.
My top three is my enthusiasm.
Right, absolutely. I think
obviously that hopefully rubs off.
Oh, it does. It's infectious. Of course it does.
Yeah. Obviously, maybe my competitiveness, but obviously, you know, it's difficult. It's probably much. I'm not saying I've got the most difficult job as coach with Pink Champagne, but it's a much more difficult than maybe, you know, because we accept everyone to the club. Yeah. You know, whoever puts their name down on the list, then we don't turn around and say, well, you've only paddled once, you're not coming. Yeah. You know, anyone who puts their name on the list comes. Yeah. You know, we are lucky because we do always fill a boat. So that's difficult. That's difficult because we sometimes take to an event people who maybe never had a race, have only been out on the boat once or twice, right. Thrown right into the deep end. Yeah. What's my third?
I'm going to change that one. When you said competitiveness, I'm going to call that leadership because it's the same thing. So enthusiasm, leadership, because it is.
Can you remember in Spain, Tim, when we was in Spain, and he gave us some awards. We've done awards. I think we gave you some rude things.
Yes, I was a whip. You gave me a whip, and I gave you a turtle. Yeah, you gave me a whip.
A turtle. I've got the turtle on my desk at work actually, and that was true what you said to me that day about the hard shell, and that is hard sometimes because that's what I found. That's what I always found difficult is the trying to be hard, trying to. I'm probably not like that now. I like to be a nice person. Maybe that goes down well because I'm not. I haven't got the whip like you. Yeah. I've got the turtle, but maybe the turtle's not quite working yet. I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, because you have to judge it right, and you know this as a coach, but you can come down and you can push people hard, and as long as you don't overdo it, they appreciate it. And they do. They want to be, if they're competitive people, or even if they're not, even if they're just coming down to they want to be outside their comfort zone. As long as you provide a framework where you can bring them back in again. I'm not going to go and start doing 10-hour planks and stuff and ridiculous stuff that are going to break people. But as long as you judge it right, and that's what that turtle was all about, wasn't it? I mean, you've got to have the hard exterior, because that's a protective thing for the team as well. It's not just your own hard exterior, but that soft, not soft underbelly, but that softer side that people can relate to as well. That's what that's about. And I think you've got that in spades, to be honest with you. I'm proud to know you. How about that? I'm proud. It's great, isn't it? It is a privilege. So okay. So what do we say? We said how we put that in one word then. So we've got the competitiveness, and leadership, we've got enthusiasm. So how would you sum up the turtle in one word?
I don't know. The turtle in one word. Soft getting hard.
Okay. I'll call that compassion.
Okay.
Yeah? Compassion. So there you go. There's your top 3.
I think so.
Leadership.
Encouragement as well. I like to give. I feel like I give people a lot of encouragement. You know, like from day one, from when I do my new members. You know, because we have a lot of ladies who don't even like water.
Yes.
You know, hate water. You know what they like. They hate water, and it's like, you know, just get them into that boat the first time. You know. So yeah, compassion and encouragement, I feel I'm quite good at.
Brilliant. Okay, let's leave it there. That's
you know, for ladies as well, you need earplugs and a whistle.
You see, yeah.
Because they don't listen to me either. So, but they do.
Yes, they do.
Now and again.
You think they don't? They think they don't. That's just people sort of but clearly you're getting better, so they must be listening to you. Yeah. And sometimes you've got to sort of lay it on a little bit, and it will seep through. And
I do blow the whistle sometimes, and the whole of Christchurch hear it, and they do hear it, and they do all stop and think, "What the hell?" So yeah. She's annoyed.
Brilliant.
Come out very often.
Yeah, got to sort of be selective, haven't you? Okay. Yeah. Right. 35 minutes, 36 minutes. You've been a star, Wendy. I'll just turn the recording off. Hang on there. But firstly, thank you very much for talking to us. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, here we go. Paddling Pastures new number 2, a very local paddle for me. I'm in Stony Stratford, and this is Wolverton Mill, Old Wolverton, literally down the road from me, maybe 1k, 1.5k, no more than that. It's the Grand Union Canal, Old Wolverton, or the Galleon pub, really, Galleon Wharf, up towards Thrups Wharf. Up to Thrups Wharf is 3.5k, 7k round trip, or you can go further, and I'll tell you more about that. So basically where you park. The route is from this bridge away, so back in the direction the picture was taken. That's the Galleon pub, Old Wolverton Road, MK12 5NL, and the car park. If you cross the bridge, keep the Galleon on the left-hand side, cross the bridge. There's a Galleon car park. There's a bridge, and then a car park of maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 cars on the left. Dog walkers go there. You normally get in there, put your boats together, do what you need to do on the grass here, and away you go. So you're heading northeast away from the bridge, not under it for this particular paddle. So first thing you come across 600 metres down the line, down the track, is the Iron Trunk Aqueduct. This dates back to 1811. Got 2 dates on it that I'll come on to in a minute. And it crosses the Great Ouse, and the Great Ouse is 12 metres below, as you can see there. Iron Trunk Aqueduct, made by Benjamin Bevan. I'll tell you the story in a minute. 4.6 metres wide, 1.9, about 6 or 6 deep, and 31 metres long. You pass it or go over it in an instant, get a nice view down the side, and you forget the history and the amazing engineering achievement it took to get this thing up in the air, and it's still there 210 plus years later. But it wasn't always as successful as it appears. So the history of it, the signboard sort of suggests that William Jessup was responsible. Now, this was the Grand Junction Canal then, didn't become the Grand Union until 1930. And the Grand Junction engineers needed to cross the Great Ouse. So the original solution was to have a series of 9 locks, 5 on one side, 9 on the other, step it down the 12 metres, and then up the other side. It took forever, clearly, to do that with a heavy laden barge. So after a while, in fact, there is still an original lock still. So if you dismount, and I'll show you a tunnel in a minute, it's quite worth spending some time having a quick look at that, maybe on the way back or when you finished. But the original concept, like I say, was a step down, step up, and then they built the Iron Trunk Aqueduct. The embankment is actually half a mile long. Took 2,200,000 barrow loads of earth to get it there, and they were barrow loads rather than cranes or JCBs. As I say, completed in 1811, but the actual first bridge as such was completed in 1805. In fact, 26th of August 1805, it was opened, the original aqueduct. It then collapsed in January 1806 rather. The aqueduct, that was the embankment, the aqueduct proper failed in February 1808, and at that point they brought the canal locks back into use while they brought in Benjamin Bevan, who was a contemporary of Thomas Telford, and the iron worker, to do a job which is more sustainable and obviously lasted for the next 210 years. So it's worthwhile doing that. Bit of Georgian intrigue, because Jessup was taken to court by the canal company and they eventually found in his favour. Now, if you've heard of Pontcysyllte, right, Pontcysyllte, or very close pronunciation, this is a longer aqueduct in Chirk on the Llangollen Canal, not hotel, that's another place. That's 307 metres long, 18 arches, opened in 1805. So by the time they'd had their dispute, then they brought in Benjamin Bevan, who obviously been involved in that longer aqueduct, and they brought in the solution, worked there. So it worked here for the relatively smaller structure. Still quite an impressive structure though. That's 307 metres as opposed to this one's 31. So if it worked there, clearly it was going to work here. Anyway, so it's got you can see two iron trunks, in fact, two baths, and there's that supporting column. I'll show you the pictures from the bottom, but this was actually taken during the start of the lockdown period. Nobody on the canal bank. That's a towpath going there. Quite precarious. You have to climb up somewhere to get this picture. Good picture though, worth doing. And the fairly slow flowing Great Ouse, which had been changed its flow in order to facilitate the locks some 200 years ago. So, interestingly enough, this iron, the iron trunk, the iron baths were cast in Coalbrookdale, the ironworks, and transported to site via the canal, which is quite interesting. It's a ancient monument as such, and like I say, if you go through this tunnel, now this tunnel, this is a view from below. I was up here, top right hand corner or left hand corner of this picture here. Underneath on both sides there are tunnels. You think they're horse tunnels, but they're not. What they are actually is cattle creeps. So horses were being less used to draw barges when it was open. It was more towards motor and steam power. So these are cattle creeps that link up the cattle fields and farmers' fields on either side. There's one this side, one the other side. Date there is the refacing, the brickwork. So on here there's two dates: 1811, 1921. 1811 is when it was the grand opening of the successful aqueduct, and 1921 was when it was refaced. The whole thing was refaced in the manner you see it now. Now, if you from here, you come along back down the towpath or stop off, leave your boats or whatever, come down the side. There's a step down pathway. It can take you through the tunnel, and off to the left, a few hundred meters, is one of the old locks. It's all overgrown now, but it's amazing to think that sort of 200 years ago plus, somebody was tightening those bolts, putting it together, and it's still there 200 years later. Amazing, quite interesting walking through there. Anyway, to say there's another one the other side. The lock pounds, remains of locks are still there, but you have to sort of use a bit of imagination this side to realise what you're looking at, where it's a bit more obvious on the left side as you look at the photographs. Okay, moving on up towards the lock. This is 1,400 metres from the start, from the Galleon pub, Galleon Wharf. And this is the confluence of the Grand Junction, now Grand Union Canal, and the Buckingham Canal. Quite a nice lock. Lock pound here, turning circle, that sort of thing. You see where the line of the canal goes there. There's a big circular that I use when I'm training to turn around and go off down the opposite direction. Above the lock, that is the start of the Buckingham Canal. What's left of the Buckingham Canal, it did stretch to Buckingham in the old days, but now there's only water as far as about 150 metres. The rest is a ditch. You can walk along it towards the A5, then it sort of disappears through farmers' fields. Quite a nice area actually. And here, this figure here, this sort of it's mesh. It's like steel mesh on the frame. This is a bargee, and this is a barge pole. You can see him in this case. I presume it's him fending off a barge or the side, like punting sort of style as they used when they maybe dislocated the horses or disengaged the horses at the locks and that sort of stuff, and used to sort of punt or push, prise the locks through the barges through the locks and actually across the Great Ouse, when that was the way they used to cross. That's worth stopping and having a look. You'll miss it actually, especially in the summer when it's overgrown a little bit, but quite a nice place. Just above the lock also some gravel carts. These were carts or gravel carts used in Georgian times, Victorian times, to load and unload barges. So further up, another tunnel. It's called the horse tunnel, but it's really the pedestrian, or maybe horses as well, linking up the tunnel that links up two sides of Cosgrove village. And through there is Barley Mow, another very nice ornate pub. So that's there. Moving on from there, a little bit of wildlife en route. This is all the way up from here. See lots of herons on this stretch of the canal. Some are quite tame, or maybe just they chance their arm or chance their wing, or perhaps they're fed by locals. But you normally get herons very territorial, very timid and nervous. But some of these you can get quite close to them, as these pictures suggest. Plenty of ducks, coots, moorhens, swans along the way. Aggressive and non-aggressive, depending on the time of year, depending on how many cygnets are around. And obviously there's some nice cows, not quite wild, on the way, and some decent reflections. Moving up, ornamental bridge. The history here as well. This is bridge number 65 on the Grand Union. It's called the ornamental bridge because there was some dispute as to what it's actually called. Sampson's Bridge, Solman's Bridge. It dates from about 1800. It's a grade 2 or scheduled grade 2 listed monument. And it's basically called the ornamental bridge locally because it was listed in an official document as the ornamental bridge. It said it was limestone. I think it's actually sandstone. But anyway, because they couldn't decide on what the official title was. It's been there mainly for livestock and road, but it suffered quite a bit during the construction of the M1 in the 60s, because something like 50 lorries, 50 plus ton lorries or whatever, were going over it and damaged the bridge, and actually built a Bailey bridge at one point just to facilitate that, because it wasn't really built for that sort of weight. But there it is, 220 years after construction, designed by an architect called John Soanes and Colonel Solmans. I mentioned Solman's Bridge. He was actually the lord of the manor, and the story goes he has not actually been traced, but he, or his family has been traced, but he apparently agreed for the canal to be cut through his land on the condition that he was responsible or designed or instigated the design of this particular bridge. It's made, I think, of sandstone. What tends to happen is it needs constant maintenance, because in the spring birds come along, peck holes in it, nest in it, and over time it sort of gets degraded, as you can see. So even when I took these pictures over the course of maybe a month or so, there's some scaffolding and roadworks that you can't quite see from here, or bridge works being done on the structure. In 1800, when it was built, it actually linked up the two halves, not quite halves, of the Grand Junction Canal. That's the Braunston in Northants and from Brentford. And apparently there's some mention I saw that this is the, obviously it's a crossing point because the towpath goes up one side and then crosses over, goes down the other side. There's some mention of the Grand Union Canal footrace, 104 miles. Not sure if that is still being run. Quite an interesting one to do if it is so. So there's the ornamental bridge outside Cosgrove proper, on the way up towards Castlethorpe. And here we go, bridge number 64. This is Castlethorpe Wharf, navigation pub. We tend to go up here, stop off for breakfast or lunch or whatever, have a pint, paddle back. Nice leisurely 7k round trip, or we can take it a bit further. MK19 7BE. And after this, in fact before, but certainly after this, it tends to open up into more countryside. Depending on the time of day, you can get some traffic noise off the A508, which is the road that links up Old Stratford to the M1. But if you're down on the canal level in a boat, then it tends to be fairly shielded from that, like I say. it's quite idyllic otherwise. Plenty of wildlife, ducks, a few swans occasionally. Not so much geese, but all sorts of stuff going on. Kingfishers, I've seen all sorts of stuff there. In fact, I was running down here a few days ago and I saw a glass snake. That's really unusual to see one because they normally disappear long before you get anywhere near them. So there we go. Oop, just lost my last one there. So Thrupp's Wharf. So beyond the Castlethorpe Wharf, you can continue on, very idyllic, up to 1 or 2 bridges, or beyond if you wish. Isworth Farm Bridge, that's bridge number 63. That's another, or 4.8k. So if you just turn there, it's just short of 10k. Or if you carry on to Haynes Bridge, the footbridge there, bridge number 62, 2 very old bridges, quite worth looking at anyway. Different construction, obviously 1 brick, one iron or steel, and that's 5.5k from the Galleon. I would say Cosgrove then, 5.5k from Galleon, so 11k round trip. All very nice, all very pleasant, plenty of places to stop. Nice place to have a picnic as well. So there you go. That's paddling Pastures New number 2, Grand Union Canal, up to Thrupp's Wharf and beyond, and actually one of my favourite paddling and running route in a variety of craft. Okay, there you go. Thank you very much, and do please send in any of your favourite paddles. I'll be very pleased to feature those on future editions of Future Water. Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay, here we go then. One thing about the beautiful Lake District is you're never really that far from wonderful scenery any time of the year. Anyway, here we go. Shoulder flexibility, 10 exercises. All these exercises do feature elsewhere on the channel, but I thought I'd group them together just to get you going. Now, get the basic technique going first and then add weight to taste, and you'll see what I mean as we go along. So right out the gate, so to speak, shoulder exercise number 1, a series. Okay, you should be able to see a skull and crossbones, my head. Notice where my thumbs are. So position 1, okay. Position 2, hand on my moustache. Position 3, weightlifter, okay, thumbs in. Position 4, thumbs up, arm extended, frontal plane. Position 5, arm extended, thumbs down, and 1 again. And so we go, 1, 2, just rotation out, 3, external rotation, 4, 5, scoop to 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a precursor to an Indian club exercise. And then when you've got it going forwards, you can go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, scoop, unscoop, if that's a word, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay. Shoulder exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 starts in the same vein. So number 1, number 2, that's the same. Number 3, underarm tuck. It's this movement, but in this plane, sagittal plane, and we're tucking the thumb under the arm. Tuck the thumb under the arm, and then we do the square S or 5, pushing back, square S or 5, pushing back, and back to 1, to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, next one, also shoulder conditioning, doorknobs. Imagine I've got my arms outstretched, which I have, and I'm turning the big doorknob on a old country house. Okay, we can do it no weight, we can do it both forward, both back, and I'm almost pitching backwards, pitching forwards. We can do it opposed, 1 forward, 1 back, or add waist, very lightweight these are. If you've got a heavier weight, just accentuate that, pushing down and pushing up. Once again, add weight to taste, as we say. Body rotations, moving on. You can do body rotations, also flexing the shoulders and the hips, either with a band across the shoulders. This is number 4. Notice hip width apart, shoulder width apart, and I'm rotating through 180 degrees, okay? All the way through, head up, back straight, trying to get as far as I can, and my hips are facing you, my toes are facing you. I can do that with a band, or I can do it with a paddle or a stick or a broom, okay? Across the shoulder, kayak paddle, same sort of thing. Hips mainly, but shoulders as well. There we go, body rotations. Next one is going to be the up and over. So once again, we can do it. That's a bit narrow for me. That's about 130. So you might want something a bit longer than that. Certainly good with a band. The up and over is basically that manoeuvre there, okay? You can do up and over and do a big sagittal bow, okay? Stretching off the hamstrings, flexing the hips as well, okay? That's the up and over, with or without a bow. Add as many bows as you want, and you can add in frontal lunges as well. Next one is the halo. There's two sorts of halos. So 6 and 7 is high halo, low halo. The low halo is circumnavigating around the head. Now, the easiest form is that. I do sort of 30 seconds one direction, 30 seconds the other. Or you can add flexion, extension of the wrist as well as you go round. That really stretches out the core and keeps those wrists nice and flexible as we do it. And obviously you can do it with a paddle or a stick as well, okay, or a broomstick even, something as simple as that. Okay, so that's the high halos. Hang on there, get my band again. The low halo, sorry, that's the low halo. The high halo is more of a circumduction exercise. Notice the diameter of the circle is only just wider than, about wide as my hips, around my hips. So I've got a resistance band, double it over, and what we're doing, I'll just kneel down so you can see it, rotating there. So soft bend in the elbows, flexible in the wrists, but mainly we're working the shoulders. High halos, 30 seconds there, 30 seconds there, 30 seconds that way, and 30 seconds that way. You can do it kneeling down. I'm doing it kneeling down so you can see me, but it actually works the core a bit better because it isolates that rather than using your knees as well. It's actually better exercise when you're kneeling down, to be quite honest with you. So low halos, high halos. Next one is, I call it take that after the band. So above our head and we're going down. So we're flexing in the frontal plane. We tend to do hip flexing, sagittal, front to back, but we've got to flex this way as well. So try and get it down to either there to get going to start with, rocking from side to side like a side bend, or go down so it's vertical and then push up, down, push up, down, push up. From the side, straight forward, push, push. So we're using gravity to compress and then we're pushing off as we come up. Once again, do the same thing with a broomstick, same sort of thing, or any straight stick, pole you've got around the house. Doesn't have to be a paddle. If you've got a paddle handy, it's quite a good paddle warm-up exercise as well. So number 8 is take that. Number 9 is, I call this a shoulder pry. We don't tend to work our shoulders in that sort of rear extension, rotation, or elevating at the back as well. So with a band, it's quite easy. Hook it around our thumbs, if you see that. And what I'm aiming to do is extend out. Now it's mild discomfort, it's not pain. What I'm doing is prying my rear arm away from my body. It's quite good with a band because I'm getting some exercise in the front arm as well. Okay, prying that away from the body, and I sort of hold it for 15-20 and then down, so you pulse it on rather than bounce. And then you do the same the other side. Obviously whatever you do one side, you do the other when we've got these sort of exercises. If you had a bigger band, obviously, to give you more stress. And you can do the same thing with a paddle or a straight edge, but modify it a little bit. So in this case, you're holding the bottom of the paddle and you're literally prise it, or balancing, or levering off your shoulder. Okay, same sort of thing. Just that movement there. One of those maintenance stretches, maintenance exercises we don't tend to use with our shoulders too much, because if you want to get your shoulder working correctly, you want to use every range of motion you can. So number 9, that's the shoulder pry. The last one, let me get my weights again. Not as much weight here, is a frontal and a lateral raise. Add weight to taste. So we're going, that's actually the frontal plane, but we're going a frontal raise, lateral raise, okay? Light weights, no weights, condition exercise or add weight, and then we can go all the way up. Okay, range of motion or add weight, strength and conditioning. There we go, that sort of motion there. Okay, just getting used to that. Lots of stuff you can do. It's a bit like the stuff we do with star jumps. You can change it. And it seems easy, but add about 4 kilos. I find about 4 kilos an arm. And you're actually quite, not stressful, but it's a good sort of stress. Just getting used to that full range of motion, condition exercises in preparation. Now it's not you can use it as a warm-up, but really it's conditioning, it's daily conditioning, and then you do your warm-up and then go paddling or whatever you do. Okay, that's all from me for now. That's 10 shoulder flexibility exercises. Hope you enjoy that, hope you enjoy the scenery, and check out other exercise videos coming up. Remember to subscribe, please. Press the button, tell us you love us, and we can then, if you send us comments and stuff, we're working towards you. So basically we're doing this for you. Tell us what you like, tell us what we need to improve, and we'll very gladly do that if we're missing a trick and we haven't quite got it right on the button as yet. Okay, enough from me. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the lakes. I'm going to over the next few weeks, and thank you.